Hi everyone. So for this devlog, I worked on the projectile system, and like most things, it's a bit rough, but I think the fundamentals are there. I started with a bow and arrow, but this same system will be used for magic casts and if a tower wants to cast something as well. So it's not limited to just the player. It's a bit hard to hit things right now, as you can see from the video. This is because the hitbox is literally the tip of the arrow. So in the future, I'll probably have to fix that to make it a little more forgiving. But for now, I think it gets the point across. So for the projectile design, if you remember, we have the server split up into a few threads. We have the state fiddler, the physics fiddler, the animation fiddler, and the sim. We also have a main thread, which communicates updates over to, I'll just call it clients. So right now this is on a server. One day it could be on multiple servers. So imagine we get this let's call it a click event that comes over into the state fiddler because this handles player updates, player inputs and player updates actually, but yeah, player inputs. And right now we don't have an inventory system, so the click is associated with the bow right now. And this will set like the animation state and all that good stuff. What it will also do is it will first communicate with the physics fiddler and it'll ask it to move the arrow along its trajectory and check for collisions. And it's not really the arrow. The physics fiddler only sees that. So it sees just the hitbox. And it's given a velocity and a distance. So any collisions that are detected will go over to the simulation fiddler, which this would handle giving XP, damage. Also, writing out, just put N for numerics. Those numerics also get sent over to the clients to be rendered. This was in the last video. Secondly, the state fiddler needs to talk to the animation fiddler and request that it runs the animation for the bow and not actually update the skeleton, just update the time. So what that means is it will ask it to run, and then this will give, I'll just put F for finished, it'll give a notification that the animation is finished, so the next click can be processed. This way we don't actually spam arrows, which we'll see in a bit. And the final thing the state fiddler needs to do is it needs to communicate with the main thread, which this could be a different thread, it doesn't really matter, but it needs to communicate that there is a new projectile. And this also gets the same thing, velocity, distance, but it also gets I'll just put T for type, or projectile type, whatever the case. So it could be like a fireball, heal, an arrow, whatever. And this will get sent to the client once, and then the client will actually simulate it. So the client does not have the projectile synchronized with the server, which is kind of the simplicity of it. Oh, and I forgot to mention, this also needs a starting position. And this position is in world space. So because they're not synchronized, you'll see a little bit of a difference between what the server sees as far as the arrow goes and what the client sees. But I'm not convinced with this style of game that this is a problem yet. And as I mentioned, without the animation fiddler, you end up sending lots of arrows at once. This has actually happened when I first got this working in the first try of it. Then once I fixed that, I also updated the orientation, but the arrow was actually flying backwards. And as far as the modeling goes, here's a edited down version of it. It didn't actually take me that long, and I didn't use any references or anything like that. I just kind of cut away anything that didn't look like a bow until I had a bow. The arrow, interestingly enough, was proportioned, I thought, pretty well to the bow, but when it was rendered in game, it was very, very small. So I had to make it kind of thick and long, but it looks better in game, I would say. But anyways, thank you for watching. Next devlog, I think I'll be working on projectiles, but the magic casts of it, which I think will include some sort of particle system. Anyways, take care.